He's in about as deep a hole as I've ever seen a candidate at this point in the presidential race. When you're down about 10 points in the poll that just came out, it's bad. But when you have the demographic problems that he has, it's even worse. You're behind in terms of Hispanic voters at historic levels. He's around the low 20s, and that's being generous, depending on the poll. Realistically, he's probably in the low teens. He has to be around 40 to be competitive. His support amongst African Americans is statistically zero on most of these polls, which is almost laughably impossible. Not that any Republican's going to get a significant percentage, but you need to have a certain demographic mix in order to be competitive, and he's just not doing it. He's alienating women, he's alienating minorities, and he has to try to make a shift, hence this positioning that he's trying to take now about immigration reform, or a new position, which still he's in a real box in. He changes too much, he alienates his supporters, he doesn't change enough, he doesn't win people over.
And what do you make of the changes we've seen just from the new campaign team in here? Because we do sense a more scripted, you might say, Donald Trump, a less divisive coming out just in the last few weeks. Does that continue to help him, particularly when it comes to the female vote?
The problem is the damage that's been done. Even though it's like 70 days, certain perceptions start getting cemented in. And he really is now at a point where the debate has to be his one defining moment where he changes things. And that puts him, I think, in a difficult spot, because Hillary Clinton is a good debater. She's not going to go in there and make any kind of significant mistake.
Chris, I mean, we're discussing this with you coming from a Democratic angle.
Yeah.
So viewers watching out there who might be coming from the other side, they say, so what? You have a candidate who shakes things up. His message is very clear: change, focus on the U.S. Candidates can come back from seeing lower levels in the polls. We've seen that in the past.
Yeah, we have seen it in the past. And if you were looking at this objectively, the message that Trump has in terms of big structural change, the argument that the system is rigged, and you were just doing the story about Milan, that just feeds into this notion that the American people have that corporate America just doesn't get it. The problem is he hasn't exploited that structural thematic advantage that exists within the electorate. Now, is there time? Sure, but when you're at this point in a presidential race, you got to do something pretty dramatic to shake it up. Hence, I think he's going to go into those debates with a strategy to try to rock her and somehow shake her, and that's a tough place for a candidate to be in.